opportunity.
Of course.
And next, we have our fourth winner. Dun, 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 dun. Yay! Hello, welcome to the show and congratulations. We have Jennifer Sweetland, Marketing Development and Communications Specialist at Mohawk Global. Welcome and congratulations on your award win.
Thank you so much. We're honored to be here.
We're honored to have you here. And Mohawk Global's work in sustainability goes beyond just the environment. It's about nourishing people and in communities, I say in communication, because we're talking about marketing and communication in your title. Wow. What inspired this truly, deeply human-centered approach to your sustainability?
You know, it really goes to our core values at Mohawk Global of enrich, care, and deliver. We strive to live by those core values in all of the work that we do, whether it's with each other as teammates, with our clients, and with our community. You know, we've always wanted to make a very meaningful impact in our communities that we live in, we reside in. And the more we learned about food insecurity and food deserts in our own communities, you know, the clearer our mission became.
Turning a 500 square foot parking lot into a raised garden is such a creative transformation. I loved reading about that and seeing the photos. Can you tell us more about the Syracuse team's journey from this idea into harvest and the overall impact of donating over 1,700 pounds of produce?
I can. So, you know, when we started thinking about food insecurity, we thought, you know, the best thing we can do is start partnering with organizations that go out into the inner cities and into communities, and they tend to these community gardens. And we did. A lot of our offices did do that. And the more we thought about it, we were like, wait a minute, we can grow our own vegetables. We have all of this parking lot space. You know, let's grow our own vegetables and see what happens. One of the hurdles that, you know, we thought we may have is a lot of organizations, as you know, food pantries and soup kitchens, they like to take non-perishable items. Fortunately for us, the partner that we worked with, we had been serving meals to their guests for years. So when we called the director to pitch this idea of, hey, will you take this produce from us? It was overwhelmingly positive. She was really excited about it. So, you know, it was amazing having all of this right outside our door. So our people could get up, walk away from their desk for 30 minutes, an hour, and feel like they were making a real impact. Donation day, like delivery day, was really fun. We would bring everything in that we harvested. We would weigh it, and everybody would get super excited about, you know, where we were last time we made a donation and how many pounds we had this week or this day, depending on what month it was. Sometimes it was multiple days. And so, you know, that was really exciting to see people really get excited about the amount of produce that we were growing. And donation days were amazing. We would drive down to the Samaritan Center where we made our donations, and their guests knew who we were. They knew why we were there. We felt fortunate, right? And so we actually ended up making recipe cards for them, because a lot of folks, you don't realize, if they don't have access to this food and to fresh produce, they don't really know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. So we made recipe cards with simple recipes for them of, you know, what they could go home and, you know, make for their family. And it really helped them, from what we heard from the Samaritan Center.
I think that's fantastic. And just thinking about, like I am terrible at getting up and taking lunch. Like, I know we're all supposed to do it. It's even like blocked in my calendar, but like, I could go garden for time and like do something for somebody else. Cause you know, sometimes we're better at doing things for other people than we are for doing it for ourselves. So I think that's really beautiful. And then, getting to see that full circle, giving it to the group, that's really powerful. And across multiple locations from New York to Albany to Buffalo, your teams really found a unique way to support food security. How do you empower each of those offices to lead in a way that reflected the community that they're in?
It all really started with education. You know, we wanted to educate them on what food insecurity was. We wanted to educate them on what a food desert was. We all have them in our communities. and we didn't realize what was happening within our own communities. We had an expert come on and speak, company-wide at one of our town halls, and he gave folks a real picture of what it looks like with real statistics about their communities, real stories within their communities. We took a group from our Newark office, and Rutgers had a seminar on sustainably growing food, and we brought them there and they learned about it, and some of them started growing their own food. It was really just educating them, and once they knew what was going on within their own community, they were ready to give back and help out.
That's great. And Mary Beth Frey at the Samaritan Center, she described your produce donations as a concrete reminder that our guests are not alone. Love that quote. How does hearing feedback like that reinforce the mission that you started with when we introduced you to your teams?
I think we're unstoppable, it only made us want to do more. And they will never be alone. They will never be alone with us. They will never be alone with the folks at the Samaritan Center. We are actually going to go into another community of ours, and we're going to replicate what we've done in our office and help an organization there. And, our goal long term is to go into every community where we live and reside and put a garden in for all of the neighbors to go and take what they need.
Beautiful.
Yes. And you guys do so much with the food, but beyond food, your commitment to them planting 1,000 trees annually and hands-on volunteering shows a long-term investment in sustainability too. So how do you see these efforts kind of shaping the legacy of Mohawk Global?
We care deeply about the environment. We care deeply about our people and our neighbors. And it really brings me back to our core values of enrich, care, and deliver. It's not about going out and planting the trees. It's not about, going in and volunteering. Those aren't like initiatives for us. It's who we are. It's who our people are. It's what they want to do. And, we want them to take action locally within their own community, but always keep a global mindset. There is something bigger. There is something bigger for them. And we want to empower them to contribute to something bigger than themselves. And, we see it as our business success and sustainability really goes hand in hand when we do that for our people.
Whether it's packing the 8,000 potatoes in Atlanta or helping elementary schools in Newark with fresh food to take home, these actions really add up. What you just said, local impact, global mindset. What type of advice could you give to other companies that are looking to blend environmental and community impact the way that you have at Mohawk?
It's really simple. I think when it comes to giving back, there are no bad ideas. Who knew, right? We could have grown 100 pounds of produce and it would have been 100 pounds more than they had. My advice is when it comes to giving back, to try it. There's no bad ideas. There really are not. We had no idea that we would end up contributing almost 1 ton of fresh food to one organization. So that our advice is to, no idea is a bad idea. Go for it.
It's great advice.
It is. Thank you so much for all that you're doing for all the communities you serve. Congratulations on winning a 2025 TMSA Purpose Award. I'm so happy to have you here on the show to talk more about your program. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We're so honored.